Good afternoon, everybody. We're live from Faisal Rashid's office on Wilson Patton Street. We're going to be pressing the Labour politician on a range of issues today, including Brexit, the local plan and the Western Link. Faisal, firstly, thank you for joining us today. Obviously, you've won the seat in 2017. I don't think even you could have predicted just how demanding the role would have been. But how manic have the last few weeks been amid the Brexit crisis?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me, Aaron. It's always a pleasure to interview with you. It's been very, very hectic. And I can tell you this, that I was in the Parliament and in Speaker's office. And there was a head clerk, and I just thought I'll just ask him a quick question. And I said, I know you've been here in the Parliament for many, many years. And have you seen anything like this? And he straight away said, no. So, it has been absolutely manic and stressful, really, really hard time.
And obviously Warrington voted to leave in the EU referendum, as you know, but you have voted against the Brexit deal in Parliament, and some campaigners have accused you of blocking democracy. Why have you rejected the Brexit deal?
Yeah, well, first of all, we do have to look at so Warrington, obviously 54% as a whole of Warrington leave, and I just want to put that right. If you look at Warrington for Brexit's website, it clearly says that the Warrington South constituency, I do not represent whole of Warrington. I represent Warrington South constituency, and Warrington South was 50.6% leave and 49.4% remain. Still, it's a democratic process. I know the whole country leave 52% and 48%. If you talk about this particular Prime Minister's botched deal, even the hardline Brexit, the people who want a Brexit with no deal, they don't even agree with this deal, right? So opposing and voting against Prime Minister deal does not mean that I am against Brexit. So I just wanted to make that very, very clear. All I'm trying to do is to make sure the Brexit we get is good for our economy, good for our jobs, and good for our constituents. I do represent Warrington South and its constituents, but also I have a responsibility for the whole country, because that's what we do in Parliament. Any legislation we pass, that affects the whole country. Yeah. So it is a very difficult decision. It's a very difficult times, and this is the first time I've become a member of Parliament in 2017, and nearly 2 years, all I have seen is Brexit. Legislations, amendments, whatever is going on, and I'm learning. It's a learning curve, but we must get Brexit right for our people. I do not want my constituents to become more poorer. We have already seen the Conservative government's cuts over the last 9 years, right? And we cannot afford any more.
And there could be a lengthy delay on the horizon for Brexit. Hand on heart, do you believe that the UK will depart from the EU? And secondly, do you want the UK to leave the EU?
I think it's very difficult to say because, of course, we want to make sure that the democratic process has happened, and we must also acknowledge that this is all about the Conservative Party. Even when when David Cameron actually promised that the referendum before 2015 general election, that was all about the Conservative Party. It's nothing to do with this country or people of this country. It was all about the Conservative Party to keep their members and party members happy and to win the general election, and then he triggered, of course, the referendum happened. Now, I personally think, we should upheld the decision, democratic decision, absolutely, but we should do it in a way that it doesn't affect the economy and jobs and livelihoods of this country. And I think in terms of leaving, we just need to see how everything is coming up. There is Brexit talks going on between the Labour Party and the Prime Minister. We just need to wait and see what comes out of them.
And away from Brexit, the local plan, as you know, is one of the most pressing issues in Warrington at the minute. And obviously, Greenbelt is clearly a very emotive topic. In the council's draft, up to 7,064 homes have been earmarked for Greenbelt land. How committed are you as Warrington South MP to protecting Warrington South's Greenbelt?
My stance, Aaron, has been always very clear. Okay, so when there was a PDO, I put out a proper consultation myself. So I've listened to all my constituents. I've been out across my constituency, and if you look at it, it's still on my website. You know, I think 6, 7, 8 pages lengthy, full detailed response. Okay, I am an elected representative of my constituents. I have to be very careful, and I have to look at all scenarios. And also, I don't just look at, you know, the next 5 years, 10 years. When I make decisions, I need to look at next generation. I need to look at 50 years down the line, what will happen. The decisions made here today, that will affect our children, okay? So that start still stays. So if local plan consultations not even started yet, okay? It's going to start on 15th of April till 17th of June, okay? So I'm out and about. I've been to Appleton. I've been to Great Sankey this morning. I'm talking to people, and I will continue to do that. And I will raise their issues and take it to the council. And that's all I can do. People also need to realize there is a clear difference between the Member of Parliament and the council. Council is totally independent, and you can see, you know, there are comments I can see on Facebook now and then, right? And one of the comment was that, you know, if our local MP wants, you know, he can talk to the head office Labour Party, then, you know, his seat is in danger if this local plan goes ahead. And what they will do is they will just, you know, pull out this local plan. It doesn't work like this, you know. This is absolutely bizarre, you know. So there is rules and process. If that is the case, then this local plan, they are going across the country. Then the parties, Conservative parties, Labour Party, SNP, Liberal Democrats, they will all be actually involving themselves in the local councils and then pulling out all the local plans. It's absolutely, I would say it's nonsense.
And can you give us any indication, you know, once the consultation is open, would you be pressing the council to potentially drastically reduce the housing numbers or really consider alternative sites so Greenbelt isn't destroyed?
Look, what I have done perhaps since the new leader came in, and you know, I said to Russ, look, you know, we must have a really robust communication strategy, and he took that on board. And I can see he's going around as a leadership forum. He's engaging with the people and explaining and creating more awareness. That's absolutely fine. And I've tried my best to liaise with the council, and if you look at the new local plan, it has reduced the number of houses required as per to the PDO. It has reduced the required green belt, and it's not. I think it's 90% of the green belt will be saved, and 10% is not just for the houses, and it's also for the employment sites as well. It's been proposed. Still, I believe even 1% green belt, used without any exceptional circumstances, wherever we can actually save, is too much, right? So I will definitely fight for that. What we have to do, we also have to be sensible about this. You know, we do need houses. You know, what do we do? Where our children will buy houses, right? If you don't build houses, you put out a house now to sale, average house, 3-bedroom, semi, like that. Within days, it gets sold because there is not much houses available. I can understand there is a talk about, how many houses being built over the years, and then the proposed are actually a lot more. But there is a statutory requirement from the central government, and this government is of course pushing the councils to build more houses and also make available these lands to that. But one thing we must understand is that I have been pushing council, right, to have more houses in the town centre. So town centre living is the key. So we have brownfield site first approach, and that's what I've always pursued and lobbied with the council. And the council is actually building more houses in the town centre, because once they are regenerating the whole town centre, so we need more people to live there so that they can actually live, spend money there, and we have more small businesses flourishing as well. So it all works together. So there are a number of things being done, and I will continue to do that. And also what I'm doing is also helping council to get the funding for infrastructure it needs. I supported council for the town centre grid, for Skyline Drive, there is Burtonwood Road in the M62 junction. I supported those bids, and it's been successful. Central Park Link, that's my job.
And I want to obviously ask you about the 656 distribution hub as well. The application has been submitted for that £180 million hub. The developers say it could deliver 4,100 jobs and more than £7 million a year in business rates for the council, but obviously residents are very angry that Greenbelt land could be destroyed. Do you want that hub to be built?
Right, so where I stand for that is because I've always said that I object to build in a green belt wherever possible. If there is no exceptional circumstances, there should not be any development in the green belt. Okay? So that goes to 656, that goes to Eddie Stobart, that goes to every development is going into the green belt. I don't actually have to not support every single different applications. When I say about green belt and anything comes in green belt, that's what I don't support. So we must also have a balance. We do need jobs in this town, of course, our children, for everything, but we need quality jobs. I also have really, I'm worried about, this hub is that we can see the traffic in Warrington. If M6 or M56 goes down, right, all the traffic goes through Warrington. So if that hub gets built, right, and M6 gets closed, what will happen? And this is all heavy goods traffic. So I have some real reservations about all these new projects going through.
And I've got to ask you obviously about the Western Link and Port Warrington proposals as well. The Department for Transport last week told me that a decision will be made on the funding in due course. They didn't really say much more than that. Do you want the Western Link and Port Warrington to be built? Western Link, the council obviously says, will improve air quality and ease the town's congestion woes.
Right. With regards to Western Link, if you remember when the consultation was going on, I did support Warrington Western Link. At one point, we say that we need infrastructure first approach and then build, right? And when the council try to build infrastructure, then you get objections. So where is the balance? We must have a common sense approach, okay? And I still think the Warrington Western Link is key for our infrastructure. We only have one high bridge. You must have another high bridge, a high crossing, and that will solve massive amount of issue of traffic, but also it also free up brownfield land for over 2,000 houses. Hence, it reduces the need for using the green belt, right? But yes, there is a part of that is the Port Warrington. Now people might say that if you support Warrington Western Link, then Port Warrington may happen. But I can't actually oppose Western Link thinking about that Port Warrington may happen, because then the next generations will not actually, how will they see, a massive infrastructure amount of money, £220 million worth of infrastructure, and that's what Warrington needs at the moment, right? But when it comes to Port Warrington, I'm openly opposing that because of the traffic it can generate, and then traffic then go to Great Sankey. And the Great Sankey, Cromwell Avenue is not there to take that much of a traffic, okay? So it has to take step by step.
And taking our minds back to 2017, the general election day must be one of the most memorable days of your life. You stunned former Tory Health Minister David Mowat to win the seat. But what has been the single biggest challenge, would you say, since winning the Warrington South seat?
Brexit.
As simple as that?
Absolutely. Since I've got elected, I mean, we must talk about health, and there's lots of school funding. There's so many things going on. Homelessness is increasing. With this Conservative government's cuts, to the council, basic services, are getting affected. We must acknowledge that. But at the same time, Brexit is one of the main challenge.
Do you think there will be an early general election? And if there is, are you confident of retaining the seat in the marginal constituency?
Well, who knows? Well, I think having a general election, I mean, it's very difficult to say because there is lots of complications on that. Because even if Theresa May, Prime Minister, actually says she wants a general election, she needs 2/3 majority because it's a fixed term parliament. And some of the Conservative Party members already said they will oppose that. But if the Labour Party and opposition put no confidence in the Prime Minister, then they will have 2 weeks to actually elect a new leader, and that leader can actually continue. So it's really difficult to say.
And Jeremy Corbyn, the party leader, a lot of support from the membership. But when it comes to MPs, it's somewhat of a different story. Is Jeremy Corbyn the right person to be leading Labour into the next general election, whenever that is?
Well, it's a good question. Jeremy Corbyn has been elected democratically, not once, twice, outright. He is a leader of the Labour Party, and I fully support him. And he is the right person at the moment to lead the party. So we can only be successful as a Labour Party if we are united together and take on the challenge to defeat the Conservative Party.
I think a day is a long time in politics nowadays, but looking ahead, if you were to retain the seat 5 to 6 years down the line, I mean, what are some of your main political ambitions? You must have some.
Well, I mean, as you know, I wasn't in politics before, and I'm from a working class family. I worked all my life. I even worked 7 days a week. I worked hard in my life. So, I have no problem in working again. So if people want me, they will vote for me, and if they don't want me, of course I will go and do a job. And that's about it. So yeah, time will tell. And then in terms of ambition, I mean, I just want to work for the people, and even making a difference to one person's life. Every day here we deal with cases, individual cases, and that makes me so satisfied. You can see there are so many cards here from people saying thank you, for helping, and that's what matters.
And the traffic survey has obviously just been launched as well. We briefly touched on it before with the Western Link, but hand on heart, do you really believe Warrington will be able to solve its congestion chaos?
Look, so fortunately or unfortunately, geographically, we are surrounded by 3 motorways. Yeah. Now, it's very difficult, how you actually tackle congestion. And hence the reason we need to come together and talk to the people, and that's why I started this traffic survey. I'm also doing a housing summit very soon, and these are the things we need to do, and listen to our constituents and different ideas, and then work together.
And I always remember when you were elected, you said you were somewhat thrown into the deep end, a lot of pressing issues facing the town, and some may say new council leader Russ Bowden has also been thrown into the deep end. Obviously he's doing these leaders forums to give residents the chance to press him on key issues. How has your relationship with Russ been since he became the council leader?
Yeah, so I met Russ twice since he became the leader. Very first time in my office, actually, there is a picture with me and him, and some of the constituents actually putting all the time that picture to showing that we are together. But again, I just re-emphasize that it's a huge difference between the council and the member of parliament. So it's just misleading. Some people are using the local plan also for their political gains, and it is happening, and I will not do that, because it is very important for our communities, and we must be sensible about it and not use this for political gains. So coming back to the relationship, It's a good working relationship, and I must continue that engagement, because I do need to do things for my constituency. One of the things of course there was a talk about Stockton Heath tip, and I made sure that in the local plan they have the provision for a proper facility. So these are the things I'm talking with him. How successful I can be, that time will tell. But it's a good working relationship. That's all it is.
And in the limited sort of free time that you do get, without giving a political answer, what do you do to unwind sometimes? In some of the free time.
To be honest, it's not political. It's straightforward. Because of this social media, it has become that you don't really get time for yourself. Till midnight, 1 o'clock, I'm just looking at the emails. We get around 300 emails in a day, right? And then you've got Facebook, you've got Twitter, and messages everywhere coming through. And because I actually, I want to be one of the most accessible MP Warrington South has ever seen. This is my pledge. And my constituents even sending me cases on Facebook Messenger, and I'm actually replying to them directly myself, and also copy, and then I forward it to my caseworkers. It gets logged, and then we take their issues forward, because I can acknowledge in this 21st century the social media is key, and it's convenient for my if I say to them, no, just email me, these kind of things, and I get 300 emails. If there is some emergency, do send me messages, and I do take it forward.
And just to finish off, number one local priority in the next 12 months, Faisal?
Get the local plan right.
That's great. Really appreciate your time today. And obviously, everyone, thank you for watching. That is all for today. We will be doing a write-up as well, which will be in next week's paper. So make sure to pick up a copy next Thursday. Thank you, Faisal.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.